Hi, Amascut here, and today I'm going to be talking about Mod Stu's recent Quest reworks slash touch-ups poll. On Monday, he shipped a, not really rework, but really just, major touch-ups to the Quest Shield of Arrav, which now has players complete both sides of the gang stuff, no longer making the quest a co-op quest, and in turn allows you to freely select which gang you would like to be a part of, which in turn improves Hero's Quest pretty significantly. It's been very well received, and Mod Stu even said that completion rates for Shield of Arrav are already up about 35%, which I think is very big. So today, he released, today being the 15th of February, released a poll that is titled, I recently released a TAPP quest improvement project for Shield of Arrav. Which of these quests would you like me to refine next? And gave a list of quests that you are able to pick from, and, just which ones would players like to see improvements for the most. So, the current rankings on the poll, and these are all of the quests, are Hero's Quest, Imp Catcher, Plague City, Vampire Slayer, Recruitment Drive, Clock Tower, Gertrude's Cat, Nature Spirit, The Knight's Sword, Jungle Potion, Pirate's Treasure, Priest in Peril, and Monk's Friend. So, I figured I'd sit down and have a little chat about each of the quests and what I think, could use some improvement. Really just, which ones I think are most in need and which ones can kind of get away without it. So we'll kind of go in order of the poll here. So, in top position is Hero's Quest. Now, before I get into this one, I would like to say I think this one is really only at the top because a lot of players are not aware of the Shield of Arrav changes and what they've impacted. The change to allowing you to pick your gang has made Hero's Quest a breeze. It's no longer an obnoxious challenge to, go in and find somebody to do the quest with you, and as such, I don't actually think it's in that bad of a spot anymore. I don't think a lot of players were aware of this. However, I do think it still has problems. I think the duo bit is fine. But, ironically, the other two parts are kind of what sucks. The lava eel is absurdly boring. It's literally just make a weird rod and go fish and cook a fish. And then the Enchanted Firebird is wildly outdated, where you go through these horrific graphics ice caves and fight a super boring basic boss and put some gloves on and pick it from a Firebird. Both of these sections would be, I would be happy to completely scrap and remove them and make two new tasks. I actually think of the three, the Master Thieves Armband is actually just fine. I think it's the most creative of the three, and certainly, offers a little more interesting gameplay than the other two bits. So, if this is the one that's taken on next, I really think that the Enchanted Firebird and the Lava Eel are the things that need improvements. Next on our list is Imp Catcher, the one that I think is most in need of improvements. This is one of the worst quests in the game. It has, I believe, 15 to 17 lines of dialogue in total. It is completely buyable. Before you even start this quest, you can walk to the Grand Exchange, buy all 4 of the beads, and talk to Mizgog, and then talk to him again, and bam! You've done. It's the only quest of this type that's still in the game, one where you buy all of the ingredients off the Grand Exchange and just complete it. As such, I think this one is the one that is in most desperate need of a rework. It also doesn't do anything at all to set up Greyzag for the Void Knight series, of which he is the primary antagonist. And it doesn't really offer any story or lore. We don't know why these beads are important or useful. We don't know really why we're doing any of this beyond the fact that Greyzag has taken them and the imps have run off on them. This quest just really needs love. I think this is the one that really should be, dealt with next. Third is Plague City. I am not 100% really what's wrong with this quest and why a lot of people are against it. It's a little clunky here and there. The pigeons bit is kind of weird. If that's, is that even in this quest? I don't even know if that's... I think that might be the sequel. But Yeah, really, you go underwater through or underground through the sewers. Admit that bit's a little weird. You literally dig through his garden. And you go, yeah, yeah. The pigeons are a different quest. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, get the picture of Elena, and you go make your mask and so on, and sneak into the city and find her and rescue her. But I don't have many major issues with this quest. I think the hangover cure doesn't really have a place in this quest at all. And I think, there's some clunky gameplay elements, but beyond that, I don't really have problems with this, and I'm surprised to see this one that far up on the poll. Next on the poll was Vampire Slayer. I do agree with this one on here. The story is completely disconnected from the Myreki Vampire series. It doesn't really fit their lore or story in the slightest. The weapons you're using are totally wrong. It's a very outdated quest. I don't have many major problems with it, but it just doesn't really do anything interesting, unique, or important. So, yeah, I could very much see this one, getting a nice rework, especially for that final boss fight. That could be really interesting and climactic and just is not currently. Recruitment Drive is next highest on the poll, and I agree with this one too, actually. I think as a quest, it's in a perfectly fine place. However, gameplay-wise, I think this quest has a lot of room for improvement. While it's fairly fun, and all of the puzzles are very creative in my eyes, I think they're all fairly outdated. The memory one is just take a screenshot, There's the no man shall ever defeat me puzzle, which is kind of stupid, to be honest. I think the fox, the grain, and the chicken one is super creative. I love that one. I think the Mischievers puzzle, though, with the missing handle and you have to kind of put everything together, is super vague. It's like an escape room, but it's just so much of it just kind of comes down to trial and error of just using things on each other, and that's just not a big fan of that. Serenachid's puzzle is not really all that great either. It's really just the first, what is it? The first letter of each line of his riddle. You just put it together. It's pretty boring. Misinterprets is also kind of boring. It's just basic puzzles. And Sir Tinley's is literally just go ahead and stand still, which I think is really stupid. The other thing is, because it's just a random selection of these, you're missing out on a lot of content for this quest. And I think some reworks could really be nice, improve the puzzles, improve the graphics a little bit, and get you to go through all of the puzzles so you get a full experience rather than just a random chunk of them. I would actually prefer that this one was held off on for the time being, though, after Mod Stu's very interesting pitch on potentially reworking Camelot into a Temple Knights headquarters. I think reworking this quest would go along very well with an update like that. So, personally, I would prefer they wait around on that a little bit. Next up is Clock Tower. This one totally needs a rework. This quest is a mess. It is totally out of place. Like, nothing about it really makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's literally just a random clock tower with a random monk, where the four cogs have somehow gone missing down the four passages, and one of the passages is for some reason on fire and nobody's concerned about it. And the other has random ogres down it for no reason. And another one has, like, rats and stuff that you have to deal with, and sneaking down a random other ladder. It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and the cogs being there is very confusing, and the quest could just use a lot of logic touch-ups. Next is Gertrude's Cat. I don't know why this is on the list. I think Gertrude's Cat is actually a very nice quest, in a very good place. The puzzle content is fine, the dialogue is fine, the rewards are fine. I don't really have a problem with this one, and I don't know why it's on this list at all. Nature Spirit is the next one, and I do very much agree with this one. It's already, a little clunky. There's not much to it. It's go into the grotto and bring 3 weird things to Philim and Tarok, and turn him into a nature spirit. And that's really it. It doesn't have a lot of relevance to the rest of the story. And I think taking this piece of story and not just graphically updating it, but really giving it more thematic relevance to Mauritania would be very nice. Next up, and I'm shocked it's this low, is the Knight's Sword. This is basically a glorified fetch quest with an extra bit because of Thurgo. Really, it just comes down to going in, finding the blurite, bringing it to somebody who can smith it for you, and bribing them with a red berry pie. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't come together very well at the end. And, I mean, even the reason for going is kind of stupid with the squire, losing the sword and then just going, oh, go find us the impossible Incamdo dwarves. Woo! It's very strange to have that lore of there's no more Incamdo dwarves, and then the squire going, yeah, just find me some dwarves. It'll be fine, man. It'll be fine. And I think they could do a lot more with the backstory of the Incandos here as well. But I also think that it's important to maybe improve the Isgarnia Ice Dungeon, both graphically and lore-wise. I think the rewards are fine, in terms of the vast amount of XP you get for smithing, which is really great. But nothing about this quest really justifies that level of smithing XP. You don't do any smithing in this quest. So I think there's a lot of improvements that could be made there. Next up is Jungle Potion, which, yeah, I get why this one is there. It's a fairly boring fetch quest where you just go around and find 5 various herbs. One of the major problems I have with this quest is the fact that the herbs are useless. I believe only one of them, which I think is snakeweed, is actually used in something after the quest. Yeah, it's part of Relisum's Balm and Sandview Serum. All of the others are random herbs they introduce that you don't do anything with. It's kind of dumb. I don't understand why they went through this effort of adding 5 new herbs and only years later decided that one of them might actually get a use later. From what I can tell, yeah, Ardrigal has kind of a use after part of Recipe for Disaster. Valencia Moss is used in another quest once. Rogue's Purse is used in Relisum's Balm. This is... And Cedofoil is also for the Ogre Boats. These are 5 whole herbs, and they do essentially nothing. It's pretty disappointing. I would like to see that reworked, as well as just some layout of the quest. Pirate's Treasure is next, and I could see this one being touched up. The core puzzle in the middle, the logic puzzle of finding a way to smuggle the rum off the island is pretty enjoyable. It's got some good dialogue, too, but the rest of the quest doesn't really do anything after that. I also think the quest could be a better setup for the Pirate series as a whole. Introducing some mild elements of that earlier on would be nice. I also don't like the location of the treasure. I think that's kind of dumb. Let's see. Next up is Priest in Peril. Really, there's only 2 major tweaks I would see done for this one. The first one is a tweak to the traders up in the cathedral. Sorry, I just totally blanked on that for a second. Where you rescue Drazel. I think that would be better set up as part of the splinter group that really comes up later. I think that would be a lot more interesting and a lot more reasonable. And secondly, you don't finish the quest in this quest. What, you say? I finished that quest. I got its rewards. The quest opens at King Roald, who asks you to go check on Drazel and return with anything you learn about the temple. The quest ends when you purify the river again, and you're given your reward, and you don't go back to King Roald. And if you go back to him after the quest, he has no new dialogue. So really, the thing you were set out to do, check on the temple, report back to Roald, is literally just not done. You don't do it. It's pretty stupid. And I'd really like to see that improved. And somehow, at the very bottom of the poll, with a mere 178 votes, is one of the quests I think is in most need of updates, Monk's Friend. This quest makes no sense. Bandits have stolen a child's blanket. A fucking blanket. They have an invisible trapdoor in the middle of stones. The party monks, I mean, the idea is hilarious, but they do nothing with it. Why can't Cedric repair his own fucking cart? Why is this quest not as funny as it thinks it is? What on earth is going on in the thieves' hideout? When you walk down there, and the two thieves don't even attack you. You just walk in and take the blanket and leave, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, man. We're good, we were just causing mischief, and you can just take it. Just go. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Like, I mean, and a different quest introduces a hangover cure, and yet Brother Cedric is like, I need water to sober up. Oh, God. This quest is a mess. I think this almost needs a full rework more than anything, but it's not good. It is not a good quest, and I think this is one of the ones that's most deserving. I'd say my top 5 for, these reworks out of these ones specifically would probably be Imp Catcher, Knight's Sword, Monk's Friend, I guess Hero's Quest, and maybe Recruitment Drive. But overall, almost every single one of these are pretty deserving of some rework content and just some general love and touch-ups the most. I don't think Hero's Quest is the number 1 for this, though, even though the poll has it leading by a fairly significant amount, 9%. Almost 400 votes. 350, we'll say. Just because I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of what the Shield of Arrav changes have done for this quest overall, and as such are voting without that knowledge. Beyond that, though, pretty good lineup of quests here that definitely need some love, and I'm excited to see what Stu will do with some of them, or one of them, or even just a couple of them. I'm excited that somebody has taken the time to put together some quests that really just need some love and attention. So, thanks, Mod Stu. I'm excited to see what comes of this. This actually segues pretty well into something I've been kind of sitting on for a while. A while ago, I made a list of the top 10 quests I think are in need of a rework. And now might be the time to actually, write and record that. So if you see something like that coming in a couple of days, don't be surprised. I'm going to sit down and try and get that done and together for y'all. And yeah, hopefully you'll see that. We'll have some more thoughts on once some more comprehensive content comes out. And I am trying to schedule some time with a couple other people to record some quest reviews. Originally that was going to be a solo venture by me, but plans have changed a little bit, and we'll see what comes out of that. As always, I've been Amascut. If you enjoyed this, give us a like. If you want to hear more, hit up a subscribe. If you want to contact us in-game, on Twitter, in the comments, always happy to listen. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hope you have a good one.